Okay, real quick, let's talk about the Alaska state fiscal crisis situation. Let's start with salmon. Alaska's salmon are managed on a sustained yield principle. We want enough salmon to make more salmon, to make more salmon, to make more salmon, to make more salmon, and if we just scoop up every fish we can catch, they'll be gone in a generation. Responsible management means they exist for future generations. Our kids and their kids and their kids and their kids. It's sustainable, a good word. So there's this bush pilot guy, Jay Hammond, also the governor. He had this vision that we could turn a finite resource like oil into a sustainable resource like salmon by saving and investing our money. Oil wells pumping oil for a finite period of time transformed into money wells pumping money forever. The permanent fund was created. Oil revenue poured in and the fund grew. Meanwhile, some oil money was also funding state government, some years more than 90% of the general fund. Great news for state services like K-12 education, state troopers, and the University of Alaska. Unfortunately, the price of oil is always changing, sometimes a lot, which makes state revenues difficult to predict. At the end of 2014, the price of oil crashed from $113 per barrel to $26 in just over a year, and our state's share of the oil revenue shrank from $10 billion to barely $1 billion, a drop in the bucket. Today, oil fields are aging, production volumes are down, prices are in decline, and oil has become more expensive to produce. On top of that, the oil industry has too much influence over oil tax laws. And there's a complicated history involving underpayments, bribes, and federal investigators. But it's okay. We've been able to smooth out some of the funding gaps with our savings. But it's also not okay because we're running out of savings. We just spent like $15 billion in savings over 5 years, and that nearly drained every accessible account. The CBR, the SBR, all the BRs. So what now? Cut the budget. Sure, cut the budget. Sounds easy. But we've already cut the budget, and doing so has nearly wiped out state construction spending and cost us close to 3,000 state jobs. Here's what we spend on state government. Now adjust for inflation, population growth, and the budget is as low now as it has been in 40 years. Cut the budget! Okay, some people are kind of hung up on this cut the budget thing, but Alaska has a high cost of living and a vast geographic divide, and it makes it difficult to deliver everything from milk to education to heating fuel, and if we want basic government services, which we do, we have to pay for them. And we do have some revenue options. We could tax the oil industry, they don't like that. We could have a small income tax that brings in revenue from non-resident workers, or we can do what we've been doing, which is essentially tax every Alaskan man, woman, and child by reducing their PFD. Not ideal. From 2016 to 2018, dividends were supposed to be larger, but they were reduced by the governor and the legislature. That sucked. It put less money in the pockets of Alaskans, but it also meant an extra $2.5 billion was left in the fund. Enough to generate $100 million a year forever. The earnings reserve is sometimes talked about like it's a separate account, but it's not. The earnings reserve is part of the permanent fund. And we have to remember those permanent fund earnings come from investments. We've had bad market years in the past, and there's no reason to think that can't happen again. This means there are real scenarios where we take too much from the earnings reserve and trigger a long-term slide where the permanent fund value declines every year until it's gone poof. That means no dividend, reduced state services, and a giant tax burden for everyone. Like those salmon, we need to think about managing our money for a sustainable return. This is our money well, pumping money, our golden goose. Whatever metaphor makes it stick for you. A giant magic salmon spitting out gold coins in perpetuity. So we can't get too greedy, we can't over-harvest our permanent fund. Previous generations of Alaskans had the foresight to save this fund for the future, and it's up to us to make sure it's still there for the next generation. We need a sustainable fiscal solution.